It's the Don't Make It Weird podcast with your hosts, Daniel and Dinosaurus.
What is going on, everyone? I am Daniel Quigley. I'm one of your hosts of the Don't Make It Weird podcast, and this is episode 25. This is the episode where our show, it's kind of a lot of its other shows are getting married. It's got,
insurance rates are lower.
Yeah, insurance rates are lower. And really, like, the show's mom's, like, asking, like, hey, why are you still working that retail job, man? Like, shouldn't you be doing something a little bit better? But, our show's just figuring out its life, all right? So no judgments, okay? But I am joined, as always, by the scintillating, savory, sacrosanct savant herself, Dinosaurus. What's up, Dina?
I had wine still in my mouth when I hit the cabinet.
Oh, good.
Kind of like went up my nose a little bit.
Your entrances are getting better and better. And for the folks at home that aren't watching on YouTube, she's got a cilantro shirt on, so we'll get a quick drink to that.
Cilantro sucks! That's two.
Yeah, she couldn't possibly be more wrong about that, but I'm okay. I still love you and I accept you for your flaws, Dina, and I want you to know that. But don't, that is sign language, I understand, Dina, and that's inappropriate. No one wants to see that, and I feel a little hurt. Can you apologize, please?
Never. I never apologize to you.
It's true. But you know who might apologize to me? Audience? Oh. He's just a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life is plastic. He's fantastic. You can brush his beard and undress him everywhere. Podcasting for the nation. We're just his creation. Come on, producer Sean. Let's go party.
I should have worn my little pink mini skirt for this episode.
It would have been nice.
I would have loved that.
Yeah, are your legs shaved for this episode?
Always.
Perfect.
I shaved mine even though they're super sunburned.
Oh, good.
What you see on I have no hair from the neck down. So.
He's basically like a Ken doll, But listen, so on today's episode, producer Sean has been torturing me and Dina for last week plus. Because we have no idea who our guest is or even what's going to be discussed on the show. So this is going to be a mega professional episode. And
wait.
What? Yeah?
I just really want to feel powerful.
Yeah?
And can I tell him?
Oh, so you
tell
knew?
him?
Not tell him, but that I knew already.
Yeah,
you already,
Dina
of
knew.
course, Dina.
Dina already knew the whole time.
Okay.
And I asked her to be a bitch all week to me, acting like
that was the best message I've ever gotten was, I need you to be a bitch. And I was like, I'm there. I can do that.
You played it perfectly. I was getting very uncomfortable. Like, just back off, producer Sean, okay?
You really were trying to take his side, and I was like, bitch, I don't even... Stop.
I just don't like mom and dad to fight, that's all.
Sometimes we have to fight for the children to be fooled.
Do you want to know who it is?
I would love to know who our special guest is today.
All right. Well, our guest this week is a word slinger and a world builder. His post-apocalyptic sci-fi novel, The Eighth Warning, Book 1 of the Reclaimed Saga, is available now. Please welcome Sam Odiorne to the show.
Sam Wise! Yes, Samington!
Welcome, Sam.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. This is amazing! I thought you were coming on for weeks, dude.
Next week,
Gotcha.
actually.
I've been waiting on this for Sean.
So everyone's just lying to me.
It's not that hard to trick you.
I'm really easy to trick. Well, I'm really freaking excited. Let's go.
I need to be prepared for this show. You've read Sam's book, and you didn't have to do any research for it. So I said, let's fuck with Daniel and not tell him who's coming on the show.
No, that's very fair. I was very fortunate to get to be an early beta in his book. I'm sure Sam ignored absolutely all my advice, like he should, because it's
Did he Jar Jar your manuscript like he did mine?
Did I, Sam?
He did, and I will tell you, I had reservations about the Jar Jar thing, but he killed it. It's actually in the current released copy.
God, I'm so glad. I just pre-ordered it today. I'm so excited.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I definitely God, that was a great scene. I was very excited about that one. So Sam, before we even get into our first game, because we like to tease the audience, do you have a little special story for us to perhaps tell us at a later point in this episode?
I do, and I had to talk to Sean a little bit about like what the rating is, and then I remembered Dina's "fuck kids" motto, and
yeah, pretty much.
So I've got a salacious story to embarrass Frex. She's really gonna love that.
That's incredible.
Excellent.
We love Frex,
Yes.
and if I get to embarrass Frex, that's even better.
Perfect.
Oh, good. So we got embarrassing stories for Frex to get us going. And guys, again, by the time this episode comes out, you need to be checking out the 8th Warning. I said it at the beginning of the episode. I got the early release on it, and when I tell you that this is not just one of my favorite indie books, just one of my favorite books, period, that I've read in the last 5 years, that's how hardcore I'm endorsing this one, man. So if you could put a little stamp on it, man, this is an incredible book, and I can't wait for you guys to check it out.
You've been so supportive all the way through, and what Dan's leaving out is the live tweet he did while reading it. So it'd be like 3 a.m, and I'd get ding, 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 ding.
Oh my God.
And it was so amazing to read it over someone's shoulder because he'd say something and I'd say, "What is he talking about?" And I'd have to look it up. But just all the feedback was awesome, Dan. I really appreciate it. And anybody that needs a beta reader, Dan's your guy.
It's okay. Dina's actually the better beta reader because she's a lot funnier. I just put Jar Jar into beta books, so yeah.
I'm just a very slow beta, that's all. You're a very fast beta.
That's what my wife
I
says.
feel like there's a "that's what she said" joke in
Yeah.
there. Yep, we're gonna make it anyway.
Yep, I would definitely highly recommend. All right, guys, so it's time to get to our game segment, and we are going to be playing weird hypotheticals / would you rather. Sean, you want to tell us how this works?
Absolutely. It's exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to ask a possibly difficult, possibly weird, possibly gross hypothetical question and ask for you guys to answer it. So, guest goes first, Sam. So, here's a softball for you. Would you rather give up books forever or give up music forever?
Wow.
Ow.
Music, if I can still read the lyrics. Does that?
Yeah,
I think I'll allow it.
That feels like that would work.
I mean, Taylor Swift, that's pretty transportative. Transported.
Transportable.
Transponder. Transponster. Her music is basically like reading a book, so.
Perfect.
And I don't know how public knowledge it is. I am a huge Swiftie. I am such a 12-year-old girl when it comes to Taylor
we love
Swift.
Tay-Tay
I don't
around
think
here.
I knew that.
No, I didn't know that either, but I'm a big
is.
Peace Whistle man myself. What's your favorite jam? Like,
my
what's
God,
the
There's a song she wrote called Hours, and I think it came off the Red album, and it was phenomenal. It wasn't a radio play, but it was one of her best songs. I also play the song Stay for Frex every time she is in town, so I'm sure she knows it by heart. And no, it's not by the Gin Blossoms.
I mean, that's better than playing
I
Follow
had a
You
party
Down.
foul.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I was wondering what happened.
I spilled my wine.
Oh, no. So now Sam's gonna leave. He can't accept that.
I just wanted to show
What?
you my record that I got.
Did
by
you actually
accident.
have a legit...
Oh, wow.
What?
It's teal too.
Is that the only reason you bought the record?
Do you own a turntable?
It was an accident that I bought the record. Oh, I dropped the record.
Do you have a record player?
Nope. It was seriously, it was an accident. I thought that I was ordering a disc, And it was...
I mean, it's technically a
You
disc.
did.
yeah.
Oh no. Well, I'm proud of you for having vinyl. I guess if I had to answer this question, I can't go without books, man. And with my taste in music which is about 70% songs to annoy producer Sean, I could probably live without a lot of my bad taste in music.
That would help me out as well. So thank you for that. Okay. So, Sam, would you rather have the superpower of flight or the superpower of invisibility?
Oh, absolutely, flight. 100%. I grew up in that bubble where I hadn't found my charisma yet, and so I've spent plenty of time invisible. And also, Frex is 7.5 hours away by car, so I'd sure love to fly up and back.
Just get a
Flight,
straight shot
hands
in there,
down.
yeah. I'm with you.
Easy one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, invisibility, I feel like if you have the power of invisibility, there's no way you don't eventually turn into a supervillain. Like, there's not a lot of, like, good, heroic things you can do while invisible. It's just like, I can sneak into places, I can become a pervert, or I can steal shit. Like, I feel like you become a supervillain if you have invisibility. I don't want the temptation. I want to fly places. Dina, what do you think?
Invisibility.
I knew you were going to say that.
Why would you not pick invisibility?
For all the
That doesn't
reasons
make
Daniel
sense.
just said.
What?
Just for the record, Dinosaurus Invisible is fucking terrifying.
She's terrifying invisible.
All that fucking power, like, I could do whatever I wanted.
That is true. I would never know when the knife was going to plunge in my back, but it would be there.
You just see a floating knife.
Dina's very last shred of social contract just gone.
For real, it's all out the door. I can do whatever the hell I want. I don't have to worry about who's watching. Like, no, invisibility all day long.
So Dina, how much of your time would you spend just bullying your husband if you were invisible?
Oh, you know what? Maybe I have to change my answer because it would be way too time consuming.
I wouldn't get anything done.
Accomplished.
You think she's a slow beta reader now. Wait till she's invisible.
I would follow him to work every day just to fuck with him. Like,
Yeah, just
I'd have to quit my job.
That would be your new job, for sure.
Your job
And then
is
you
to
could
fuck
just
with him.
sneak into bank vaults and, steal money to replace your lost income.
yeah, that's no downside with that.
You're right. Also, the wine that I spilled ruined my bullshit button, so that's really fun.
Oh,
Oh, no.
how
still
can our
cleaning.
show?
Can we all
Yeah,
raise
we
our
have a moment.
glasses?
Yeah.
R.I.P. bullshit button.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually put in a little, like those Oscars, Academy Awards, like death montage videos.
Just
Slow
all the
motion
time
with the
she held
clouds.
up the-
Yes. I'm going to insert that right here. Okay.
Perfect.
Good answers, guys. Good answers. How about this one? Sam, would you rather live at Bag End or Asgard?
Oh, Asgard. Asgard, absolutely.
But
Tell us why.
Lady Loki.
But, okay,
Is that
I mean,
good?
like, are you?
Is that
Are we
why?
talking? But what
Enough
about
said.
Gator
And
Loki?
Valkyries and Mead and just yeah.
Now, are we talking
Yeah, I hear-
Marvel Asgard or traditional Norse mythology? Asgard?
I was talking about Marvel Asgard, old Asgard, before it was destroyed.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty tempting. Dina, what do you think?
What's Bag End?
Bag End?
Oh, funny.
It's where the hobbits live in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I knew that. Okay. Oh. Can I do I have to only stay there like forever?
That's the choice.
Or can
You
I
live-
travel anywhere in that world?
You live in that universe. That's where you live your life. So,
So you don't have to be cooped
like,
up in the city, but you're
elves.
in that universe. Yeah.
right.
Ooh, but Loki, he's right. one is... Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bag End.
All right.
Because elves. I guess I have to. I guess elves versus Loki, I would have to go with elves.
Now,
Elves
I
are
mean,
very pretty.
I'm very interested in what Asgard looks like in the Gator Loki universe, because that to me feels like the Elite universe where you have Gator Loki. Just
Have you never... Oh, I see what you're saying. I understand. I followed. I thought...
So are we like... Is every inhabitant of Gator Loki's universe Gator versions of their counterparts?
I don't
Is that
know,
what we're
man.
thinking?
I
if
hope
you
so.
chose that, would you too be a Gator version of yourself? Like this
These are
opens
the
up
deep
a whole
questions.
box.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
That just doubles down. Absolutely Asgard, especially if it's Gator Asgard.
Sam's like, it's not even a
100%.
question if it's Gator Asgard.
Win-win.
I mean, like, here's the thing. I want to say Asgard because it's great. But I'm really lazy, and I feel like my lifestyle fits the Hobbit lifestyle. Just get to chill in nature, get second breakfast and third lunch. Like, I'm kind of about that life, man. Like, just chill out, watch some fireworks, smoke a pipe, just, have a good time.
I changed my answer. I don't want to be in the same universe as Daniel.
Oh, so now you are in Gator.
Wow.
That's hurtful. That's just hurtful.
She'd rather be Gatorsaurus than spend time.
To be fair, she would be the ruler of Gator.
Honestly, if I was in Asgard, I would wind up being Loki instead of just like being with Loki. So it would just...
But to be fair,
wouldn't
Loki's
work out.
only attracted to Loki, so this kind of follows.
It tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this makes sense.
All right.
Yeah, I definitely changed my answer.
Dina's gonna hate this next one, you guys.
Oh God, yes, I'm excited.
Butter or
Butter or onions? No.
I'm ready to
would
commit
you-
suicide.
You have to give up one of these things for the rest of your life: brushing your teeth or washing your hair.
Oh no!
Oh, no. I brush my teeth like 4 times a day, yo.
I figured.
Fuck.
I feel like this is specifically attacking Dina.
I just wanted a gross one. That's all.
Define washing your hair.
You are not allowed to use any product.
God damn it.
You know what
man, I
washing your
guess I
hair
never-
means, okay? You have a whole 4-hour routine.
Yeah, but some people think that washing your hair includes shampoo, and for curly haired people, it doesn't. So, suck it.
I specifically didn't say shampoo because I knew that you had some weird routine that you'd be able to find a loophole on. So,
I guess I'm
whatever
gonna
your
have to
routine
never
is,
wash-
you can't do it anymore.
I'm gonna have to never wash my hair again because I like having clean teeth.
Sam, what do you think,
Wow.
man?
I'm shocked by that
That
decision,
hurts.
actually.
not much hair left. That one's obvious. Like, I can coast for a year or two until it's not a thing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't normally answer these, but I'm in the same, ballpark there. I don't have any hair on top of my head, but I have a beard that I shampoo, so can I wash my beard, or does that count as washing
No,
my
I
hair?
think that counts, man. I think yeah.
you did say hair.
Yeah.
That's hair.
All right.
I mean,
You're
listen.
gonna be Senor Dirty Beard.
Let's have some
just have
beards,
to shave it
have
off.
some birds in that thing, Yeah, I mean,
Braid it, everything's forgiven.
I was gonna say Vikings didn't wash that shit,
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's the same thing. Even though I could have some luscious hair, I'm lazy again, so I just keep that thing super short. So to me, I'd rather my wife be okay with kissing me occasionally and having some just keep that thing just nice and tight, and we're good to go, man.
Right on. One more. This one I feel like it could be really difficult to answer. Would you rather know all of the world's secrets everything, the good and the bad, or live blissfully ignorant for the rest of your life.
Ooh.
Y'all really hesitating about this?
This is the evil mastermind Dina coming out.
No, it's all the secrets, absolutely. I'm just trying to imagine what blissful ignorant would be like for a second. No.
Nope. You want to know
No.
You want to know about the lizard people, the flat Earth, all of it. You know.
All of it.
And have the
For
burden
sure, and I'm
of
gonna
knowing
use that shit as best as I can. If I have to be tortured with that knowledge, I'm gonna use that knowledge too, so.
Okay, but imagine you have that knowledge and no one believes you except for crackpot organizations. Like people that are frowned upon. Like you're that guy that everyone thinks is insane.
But wouldn't you know who wasn't going to believe you?
I mean, because obviously, if it's secrets, there's someone that knows the secret. But wouldn't that also then make you a target for the people trying to keep the secret if you know it all?
That's true as well.
Bitch, I wish they would try to take me out. If I
I'll
know
just
all
go
the secrets,
invisible.
what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
I'll go invisible and I'll brush my teeth again so they can't smell me.
I mean, listen. So both you guys want the knowledge. Again, I'm just hanging
He's
out in
gonna pick
my
ignorant.
Hobbit bag end, man. I just, I don't want to know any better. I'd rather not know about the aliens. I'd rather not know about, all that other stuff, man. Like, just let me do my thing. I'm good. Because I mean, if I felt like I could make a difference with this information, that would be different. But no one knows. I'm in no position of power. I'm just gonna, be burdened with just atrocities.
All right. And that has been Would You Rather? Weird Hypotheticals.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So, Samson, I heard that you have a reading for us. I assume from the 8th warning. Is this correct?
It is.
Yes.
I was almost ready to do a reading from the Saga of Omalara, but I couldn't pull it together just enough for you, Dan. Just know it's coming and it's in the works.
And then I'll get a sneak peek of that, because Umalara is my girl, man.
Absolutely.
All right.
So, I do have a reading from the 8th warning, which is out now, and it focuses on a character called Hyatt, who's your main protagonist, and one of his companions called Iron Dolores.
And for the record, before you even get into this, because I just want to have everyone in the same mental image as me, when I first read Hyatt, who did I think was going to play him in the movie, Sam?
Oh, I'm going to blank on his name, but I can picture his face. What was his name,
That
Dan?
is, oh God, I hope I'm right now. Sam Freeman. Is it Sam?
Oh, Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman. There it is.
Martin Freeman.
God, why did I? It's because I'm looking at you, Sam, and I'm distracted. No other names come to my mind. Beautiful bastard. So yeah.
Don't
So
make
I
eye
picture
contact with him.
I picture Martin Freeman playing Hyatt, and I feel like it's a pretty perfect casting. So
It is, and probably Mila Jovovich for Dolores.
That's a good one too. Yeah, that's all right. So all right. We've cast the characters. Sam, hit us with that reading, baby.
Hey, can I ask you something? He asked quietly. Sure, Dolores absently tucked her massive curls behind her ear so her crimson locks lay on her pack. In my home at the table, Hyatt stumbled over what he was trying to say, rejecting the first 3 versions of how to reach his point. How was I sober? The Iron smiled like she knew the punchline to a joke Hyatt was starting to tell, but wanted him to finish telling it anyway. What do you mean? You know what I mean, he replied, his voice low but firm. Did you do something to me? Hyatt, you were drunk and needed to focus. I gave you something to focus on. That's all, the Iron replied, though the shine in her eyes made him think there was much more to it. I didn't do anything to you. Okay, different question. Are all Irons allowed to lie? He asked, giving her a sideways glance as he looked ahead to another bend in the path. Really? She laughed and looked over as if seeing him for the first time. What do they say about Irons and Brathney? Hyatt felt like he'd stumbled into a spider web with no way to extract himself. He cleared his throat and kicked a loose rock off the path, wishing he could disappear into the brush like the skipping stone did. The feeling of the iron's eyes on the side of his head told him he wasn't going to get away without an answer, but he waited to reply until the silence gained enough mass to tip over. Well, just things, like... He searched his mind for any of the scraps of stories about irons that might be true and hoped he was right. Like, you don't answer to high rangers, and you're chosen by the iron before you, and that you hunt people who ignore the warnings, and we can't die, and we hear the voice of Skladowska, and we do magic, that we're born in the low flowers, that we eat babies that are left in the reclaimed. Dolores picked up the list, amusement tangled around each statement, but the humor was swallowed by the perfect seriousness as she said, "It's all true." Hyatt flinched in horror, stepping further away from the iron. "You eat babies? Like baby Halou? Would it be better if it was baby CERN?" The smile spread across Dolores' face like a sunrise, and she winked at him. "Okay, maybe not all of it's true." Hyatt laughed uneasily. He was about to ask which parts were true when she reached out to stop him with a hand on his chest. No sound warned him of danger, and he hadn't seen anything out of place, but he froze all the same as a jolt of fear drove curiosity and fascination from his mind. "There," she said quietly, pointing to the broken bones driven into the ground like spikes beneath the wilting leaves of ferns that lined the edge of the road. He leaned on his only other experience outside the walls of Brathney Garden and looked up, fighting a gasp of surprise as he saw white bones with indiscernible carvings strung between the branches. While the CERN markings near Volk Bridge had dangled like stalactites in plain view, the bones overhead were strung horizontally like ribbons and easy to miss against the leaves. Hyatt felt familiar foreboding in his neck and joints as the iron started walking again, and he fell into step behind her, but his eyes clung to the bones. "Now what?" he asked. "Now we wait till they find us," Dolores replied, "or keep walking until we find a trail to their camp."
Let's go. See, look, Dina, we found a scene that wasn't completely horrifying until the total end for you. You didn't have to be scared for us.
She didn't even grab a
Yeah,
sword
it's
or
fine.
anything.
Yeah,
Sam,
good.
you also...
I skipped the
Sorry.
I skipped the horrifying scene for Dina because I know that's not her favorite.
Thank you.
Very
For the
considerate
first
of
time,
you.
a guest is considerate about that.
So, Sam, you had mentioned to me that you wanted to make an announcement about book 2 in the saga.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm about 18,000 words into Desolate Garden, which is book 2 of the Reclaimed Saga. The Reclaimed Saga is 5 books at the center of what I hope to be 2 or 3 dozen books, a couple anthologies, and a role-playing game. So
Naturally.
I'm building out this world, and the second one picks up shortly after the first one ends and resolves a question left open-ended in book 1. I expect it to be out in fall 2022.
Let's go.
Hey.
Wow. That's a lot.
Man, that is you're putting in work, man.
I'm trying.
So does that mean roughly winter, spring? I get to see that beta, ahead of time.
Jesus, damn.
Aiming for March to be done and going into the edit phase and shopping cover art. I made some bold assumptions with book 1, so I'm trying to correct some of them on my timeline for book 2. But
Thank you, past Sam.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, it definitely leaves some open-ended questions that are absolutely going to drive Dina crazy because she hates when they don't give her closure.
Yeah, I do.
It's not a cliffhanger, but there are some unresolved issues that need to get sorted out.
All right, so Sam, it is time for the personal questions. This is where Dina's going to get in there, rip out your heart, bring on the tears, get you really emotional. Are you ready for this? Do you have your tissues? Are you prepared?
All set. Here we go.
And here we go with the trauma. Dinosaurus, take it away.
What do you got, Dina?
All right. The world needs to know, how often do you floss? Since we were talking about teeth.
Ooh.
About once a day. Not as often as I should, but I understand more than most people.
Oh yeah, I was gonna
probably.
say, damn, that's impressive. I wasn't expecting that.
I
I was
totally
gonna
floss
like
every
roast
day.
somebody for being like, I don't floss.
I've
We know you
flossed
don't,
5
Daniel.
times since we started this episode, you guys.
The question is, what do you do in public when you have to scratch your butt?
I scratch my butt. I don't
Yes.
have any shame
There's
attached.
no
I just
pause about it, just straight up.
nope.
Just straight in.
Don't
You
even
don't
slow
try to like,
down.
wiggle out of it or nothing. You're just.
Just straight in
Side
there.
Quite the opposite. If I can point it at someone, will I get it? Like
Oh my god.
Just
Yeah.
really mark
we're
your
gonna have this
Everybody
experience
gather
together.
around. My ass itches.
He just announces it to everybody.
I mean, this sounds like good
Yeah.
world building for future gardens. It can be a ass scratching party when everyone meets at the main hall. You know,
There's posts at every major intersection that you can just grind on. I've already got it sorted. This is the way future. So
I
Everything is
hate where
designed
this
for
went.
cats in the future. There's just stretching posts everywhere.
yes.
Oh my
What about the
God.
front side though? Like if you have to adjust your nether regions.
Same thing. Aggressive eye contact. Scratch,
Aggressive
scratch.
eye contact.
No,
Yep.
I hate when men do that.
Eye contact.
Incredible.
that's the key. You make eye
Yeah.
contact with someone close by and just go for it.
I
Daniel
don't
was
want
already
them looking
aroused,
at me
and now it's
when
worse.
they're scratching their balls, man. Like, stop it. Don't look at me.
And
Is
I
this
hear
a-
you.
Is this a problem
But
for
on
you,
the
like,
other
regularly?
hand, gotta get scratched. I do it or they
It does
do
happen
it. Like it's
regularly. Maybe it's a Florida thing, but I'm like at least once when I go out in public at the store, a guy like we're just walking down the aisle is walking towards me, and all of a sudden he's adjusted himself, and I'm like, look away, look away, like because I
Listen.
don't want to watch you do that.
I mean,
I've been to Florida.
I'm gonna make it worse, Dina. Most guys need to scratch their balls comes from wearing underwear, and since I don't, it's a relatively rare occurrence for me.
Right, but in Florida, I imagine it's more like you're just peeling them off of your thigh because the humidity just makes your balls
yeah,
sweat.
it's just swampy the whole
I
time.
do think that's what it is. Like it's just so hot out, and like yeah, it's probably just.
So here's the problem that I'm finding though, Sam, is that I have been known on Twitter to ask you where your pants are, but with this new information, I feel like I've been asking the wrong question.
You have, and also as you can see, I have Schrodinger's pants on now. It could or could not.
Could go either way. And Dean,
I would like to be excluded from this narrative. Oh god. All right. The almighty question that I stupidly forgot to ask last time. What's your favorite form of potato?
Bangers and mash.
The fuck is a banger?
what? You don't know
It's
what
a
a bang?
sausage.
That's
Bangers
UK.
and mash is an English dish. It's sausages and mashed potatoes.
All of our UK fans just tuned out now, Dina.
You just put sausage in your mashed potatoes like a fucking
No,
savage?
you serve sausages with mashed potatoes, and there's often
On a bed of mashed potatoes.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
often like a gravy, maybe some onions.
Mhm.
I know you're not into that, but
I love onions actually, but they kill me.
But they killed me.
That's fucking weird. Why would you?
It's not. It's a delicacy in the UK.
Listen,
This
if you
is
So
haven't
like I'm
tried
literally
it, I don't
picturing
think
like
you should.
links.
bangers and mash.
So picture a plate of mashed potatoes, which is great and all.
Yeah.
And then you've got
The whole
sausage, like full length links on like 2 or 3 of them sitting on a bed of potatoes so that all of that cooked flavor gets down into the potatoes and you
Mhm.
cut pieces, get potato and sausage on the fork and eat it together. It's wonderful.
I've made it with like a red wine sauce, onions, usually served
That's
with
not
green
bad.
peas.
Just weird.
Listen, you.
Okay.
It's an Irish or English kind of standard staple. It's like that and shepherd's pie, and it's one of those like 5 quintessential dishes.
Mhm.
I can see that being an Irish thing. They mix all their food together, like everything.
listen,
mixed.
it's
Everything
so
touches.
hearty.
Everything mixes.
Yeah. You're one of those people that can't have the food touch. You have to have it all separated.
Oh no, I mix all my
Oh
food.
no!
I do. No, I got it from my family.
Okay.
Like
Well,
I
especially
mix
with,
all my food.
with
I've just
mashed
never
potatoes.
heard of banger and
Oh, it's again. It's up there.
banger and taters.
Banger and taters. That's the southern version of it. We're gonna get some bangers and taters.
It's over my face now.
Oh,
There it
see.
is.
You can see it.
Oh, okay. That's not what I was picturing happening at all. I was picturing,
Right.
like those Johnson and Johnson like sauce, like packaged
Johnson
sausages.
Johnson, the lotion company? What is happening?
Like Jimmy Dean preheated bowl meals full of like mashup.
Jimmy Dean and like the little
Baby
like
powder
mini,
flavored
like
bangers and mash.
bangers and taters.
Bangers and taters.
I cannot wait to go into my local Irish pub later and order banger taters and see how that goes for me.
Oh god.
Sam,
No,
God,
see, that looked good. What I was picturing was just gross.
Sam, now that's all I want to see. I just need to, next time you and Frex like are hanging out, just get her to record you. Just walk in, be like, "Oh, hey, yeah, can I get some banger taters?"
I will 100% do it, and I'll let you know how it goes.
How do you land on the prologue epilogue debate?
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with a prologue, but a lot of people write chapter 1 and call it a prologue.
Agreed.
I've seen prologues done really, really well, and sometimes are absolutely necessary, especially in really long tomes with really complex worlds. It can be super helpful. Generally, though, it's an error of execution. They should be calling it chapter 1 or dropping it entirely and working that stuff into their world build throughout. So, generally against, with a significant number of exceptions.
Fair enough.
You know
Fair
who did a really good prologue was the Shadow and Bone series. Who wrote that?
Oh, that's Lee
is that?
Bardugo. She's really good.
Sure.
Yeah, I started on Six of Crows, and no, that's definitely a good series.
I think that goes for all the writing rules, though. Like, for every rule that don't do this, you run across somebody who does it incredibly well and saves it. Semicolons in fiction, or prologues, or a 10,000 ellipses breaks between sections over the course of a 200-page book. Every time you go, absolutely not, somebody crushes it, and you're like, damn. So
That's fair. I mean, listen, I'm
That's
sorry.
how it works in creatives.
I was
Yeah.
going to say it. So, I mean, well, my last big controversial thing, M-dashes.
Pro M dash all the way. We'll fight about it.
I'm an abuser of the M-dash also.
I love the
I think
M-dash.
it's because I took so long to realize it wasn't just a hyphen and there was another character I was supposed to be using all the time.
Alt 0151, that's the code for anybody that's not a
Yeah.
Mac user. There you go. I've saved everybody's life.
It does.
I too learned that
I love
lesson
M
recently, a
dashes.
couple months ago.
I too love M-dashes. I'm glad we are very in sync on our grammar here, man. So, I mean, not that I know much about grammar, but
You don't know anything.
I think my big sin is I grew up with two spaces after a period at the end of sentences, and unlearning that muscle memory of the double tap is like,
I know.
it's such a... I
have to
accept
go on a
why
rant.
it's changed.
Tell me, Dina.
Please.
Tell me.
So a big reason why we have, not only are we talking about like not talking about typewriters and stuff like that, but the reason why we stopped with the hard stop was because it was discovered that it was actually very harmful and confusing for those with dyslexia because it causes the words on the page to swim. And I mean, even people that don't have dyslexia like me, reading the hard stops is just, oh my God, it's so hard on the eyes. But yeah, no, it's a struggle for those with dyslexia.
That's really
So
interesting.
stop putting hard stops in things. Thank you.
I didn't know that. I honestly, I mean, and listen, I'm with Sam because I'm an old man, and like that's just my muscle memory. Like that's how I learned to type. That's how I learned to write. I have to like physically think about only doing a single space, and then I go back and like people edit my stuff, and they're like, "God damn it, Daniel! It's going to take an extra 2 hours to get rid of all these." Yep. Oh. Sorry, Dina, do you have any other hard-hitting questions before we get back into it?
I do not.
All right, then that means it's you and me time, Sam. It's time.
Here we go.
And this is like the crazy part, because you and me have spent hours talking about this book, and so it's like I'm gonna have to ask questions that I hope that other people haven't heard yet, because we've spent a lot of time discussing it, and so it's just like I'm excited about it. But let's dive right in. on where the idea for the Eighth Warning came about. Like, where did your inspiration, how did you decide you wanted to build this world?
So it started as a scene in my head revolving around a character called an Iron, like the reading we just did, and a reclaimed by nature world. I've always been fascinated by like abandoned cities or Ferris wheels that have had vines and greenery grown up over it, completely forgotten by humanity. And so I had a character in a scene, and I tried to write it like 6 times, and it didn't shake out. I wasn't happy. It wasn't going anywhere. And I fell asleep and woke up at 2 a.m. and started jamming down ideas on Post-its from a dream that I was having about this world that just kind of opened up like a flower. Hence the wall of Post-its behind me where I continue to like build the world. And it worked. I had a bunch of ideas that were running different directions. I still wasn't happy with an Iron as the main character though. And so I decided to kind of Watson it. And so your main character is kind of a beta artist type with no real desire to be involved in anything bigger, and makes one mistake to do something adventurous to try to earn the attention of a gal that he likes living in the garden with him, and instead ends up at the middle of something wildly out of his depth and control with 2 people that are way cooler than him, stumbling towards trying to prevent the end of the world. And I wrote about 5,000 words. I thought it was going okay. It was a good National Novel Writing Month project. And then I was going to shelf it as a writing exercise. And Frex would not hear of it. I got so much hate mail from my girlfriend. It's like being published already. Just the inflow of, hey, I notice you haven't done anything productive with your life today. Please write some more. And so she knew it was going to be something before I did. I finished it with her routine encouragement. I kicked it out to some betas to include Dan, and all of the feedback was overwhelmingly positive, constructive in places, but altogether people were enthralled by the world and the story. And that's continued throughout the pre-order, and now that it's going out into the world, people have just been really positive and excited. It's been a whole journey, and I'm usually the last to know what's good. So
and listen, and this is an important thing because for their own, because I don't want to spill the beans on a friend of ours that has some very exciting writing news, but we have a friend that was talking in the DMs about wanting to shelve a project, and suddenly a lot of very good things have come from this person not shelving the project. And I think that there's something to be said about not giving up on something and kind of getting pushed to just keep going with it. I mean, what was it like when you dove back in after you decided to give up on
it? It was relieving because the hate mail stopped. But it was really cool to decide to invest in the characters and decide where they were going to go. And without giving too much away about the story, the way you feel about the 3 main characters in the beginning has changed 90 degrees by the time you get to the end of it, is kind of the persistent feedback that I've been getting, which was really cool to write a character-driven narrative in a post-apocalyptic setting that's usually focused on action or barely scraping by. And there's some of that too. We've got some touch-and-go scenes and some tense moments, but it's the journey of 3 people, and it was a lot of fun.
And that's something that I think was, when I went through and I gave you the notes, the thing that jumped off to me is, it focuses in on 3 characters, but there's so many people that show up in the universe and world that I want to know more about and learn more about, whether it's everyone telling my boy Gorman to shut it up, or I think I might be the only one that just loved the hell out of Gorman, but maybe I related to him. But how did you go about character building and creating kind of vivid characters, even if they didn't all necessarily have huge important roles to play?
As a writer, I don't write side characters. There's no character that's there to drive the main characters. And so when you run into a character who's there for a couple of chapters, they exist in their own timeline as their own protagonist of their own story. And I try to show that in their interaction. I hope you never get to feel that any of the characters that touch the main storyline were just a pinball bumper to redirect the story. Omalara even was one of my thinner ones, and I know that's one of your favorites, yep. Dan. And now she's got her own spin-off story that's going, because I fall in love with the characters that are just there for a little while, and I'm like, I wonder what happened to them. And because I'm writing such a giant universe, I get to go back and explore those, and that's a lot of fun.
And that's one of the things, too, that I love about this story, is that, I think that as male fantasy authors, it's very easy for us to kind of play out, like, the Dungeons and Dragons role-playing fantasy and create badass masculine guys that just go in there and kick down doors and beat shit up. And what I loved about Hyatt is that he's a very vulnerable character. Like, when he battles, it is not well thought out. It doesn't go well for him, but you create some badass female characters. Like, what was your mindset on how you showed strength through characters?
One of my strengths weaknesses is that I have a love affair with women as a entire half of the species. I find them fascinating and charming and admirable and strong, and it's great. And so one of the characters is kind of a surprise to become a protagonist, which is why I'm not naming them. But it's very much a love letter to two very different kinds of women. Dolores, who we've met in the reading, is one kind, and then the other character is her own brand of badass, pragmatic, adventuring.
Sounds familiar.
Not that Dina knows anything about that.
I feel like Dina would do very well in this world.
I mean, and she would have. Now, we're going to go random question before I let you finish answering that. If you had to pick, would Dina be an Iron or a CERN?
CERN, hands down. Absolutely a CERN.
That was a very fast answer.
CERN are the...
It's a compliment.
CERN are the wilderness folk that are all survival badasses.
I can't wait to read this and understand all of these references.
Me too.
It's the thing about writing all these characters. I didn't want to write the D&D fantasy that Dan was talking about. I wanted to write a guy who was kind of a reluctant hero, but with none of the heroic qualities, who is swept up in the company of better women than him and is kind of dragged along kicking and screaming, and then kind of finds his feet while trying to run. And it's a lot of fun. I surround myself with both men and women who are of just phenomenal caliber, people I feel lucky to call friends. And Frex gives me a hard time all the time that I have my superhero squad around me. And that includes several phenomenal women who are accomplished and strong and gifted and capable. And I like getting to write them because I don't think that they get represented well in a lot of modern fiction. And when they are, they're usually by women. And I worry sometimes that readers consider that a bias. And so I want to write strong women from a guy's perspective to kind of help normalize that the hero doesn't have to be some giant, boulder of a man.
That's awesome. Absolutely agree. And speaking of the normalization, I got two more questions because I could ask you about 50, but I want to make sure we have time for your story and everything. So one of the things I love is that you normalize a lot of things in this world, whether it's the pairings. You don't make it a big deal to show different types of relationships, whether it's homosexual, heterosexual. You go have gender pronouns for characters. And none of it is in the surface, is even discussed. It's there and it's normal and it's just part of this world. And what was that like when you're going through the process of just normalizing all of these things you wanted in your universe?
So I'm a quiet, persistent supporter of LGBT matters, sex workers' rights, just basic things that I think should be human. Everybody should be able to live their best life, and I think that matters. And I see a lot of different people trying to pitch their experience through their fiction, the big own voices movement that we're caught in now. And I think that's really important. And you get everything from the low-key expression to the very pointed, this is clearly an LGBT work of fiction. And I think all of that matters. My approach from kind of the fringes of that has always been normalization. What if having a couple together was just nobody batted an eye and it was fine? What if the guy wearing eyeliner or makeup was just written into the story and nobody commented and everything continued to roll? And again, I'm writing in the way distant future. I get to believe that we survived all the struggles of 2020 and 2021 and created a world where whatever you do is fine and nobody cares. And I think that's a little way that I can contribute to that narrative. And I know lots of people from across that bubble who are trans or non-binary or gay or lesbian. And the only thing that affects is not a thing. We go to the same bars, we play the same games, we want to make enough money to support ourselves and be there for our partner, whoever that is. I like to write a world where that's just how it all works.
Love it. I'll give the yay for that. So all right. So last thing, going big shout out back to episode 3 and Peter Sean Terrell. Got some fuck off monsters in this in this book.
The one with a big fuck off monster.
There are some fuck off monsters. How did you go about? What happened when you wanted to create these monsters, and how did you go about designing, building, and incorporating our fuck off monsters known as heirs? Sorry, I don't know why I fucking said that, but into the world.
Because you're Daniel.
That's fair.
So, the world is completely reclaimed by nature except for these 9 gardens that everybody lives in, and I needed a damn good reason to keep them inside the gardens. And I figured, what if people weren't running around and causing problems and developing the rest of the world back to its former quote-unquote glory, what would wildlife do? It would get bigger and more territorial and just kind of run stuff. And so heirs is literally a reference to them inheriting the planet in the wake of the previous apocalyptic events that have led to today. And I mashed up animals that I thought were cool to mash up, and I made them the size of like 15-story buildings. And then I made them distant from the gardens. So if you live your whole life in the garden, they might be a myth, or it might be something that your great-grandpappy fought out in the Reclaimed in the earliest version of this modern history. And spoiler, they're not a myth, and Hyatt gets to get real up close and personal with a couple of them, much to his terror and chagrin.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, all right. So before we get on to our next segment, it's time for us to ask some off-the-wall questions. And I know that Dina is very prepared for her off-the-wall question. Dina.
As she
I
always
am
is.
prepared for my off-the-wall question.
Ooh. Go for it. Hit us.
Oh, I'm supposed to go first?
Okay.
Okay. I hate going first. You know
You
that.
never make Dina go first. We know this about the podcast. Dina
I'll go
always goes
first.
second.
It's fine. I'll
She
go
needs to
first.
prove that she was
I just-
prepared tonight.
Yeah, I do. That's the only reason. I just want to know how your Jeep's doing and if you torched it for the insurance money.
Saying yes would make me liable. So whether or not it's burning, I had nothing to do with it.
Whoa!
Cannot confirm.
For anybody who doesn't get the reference, my About Me section of my website is a bunch of semi-tongue-in-cheek comments that don't really go anywhere, but one of them is torching my Jeep for the insurance money. And it's not a real Jeep. It's a Renegade Trailhawk, so it's basically an Italian toaster with a Jeep symbol. And I'm looking forward to swapping it out for one of the Cherokees from the 2000 eras that I've always driven.
All right. So no more toaster ovens
Nice.
for you. All right. Shit. All right. All right. So we're gonna give a little shout out to best friend of the show, Rance D. Denton here, and say who would do better. Would Hyatt do better in Black Peak, or would Faust do better in the Eighth Warning, in the Eighth Warning universe?
So I got to read His Ragged Company before it came out, and I'm a huge fan. So hey, Rance, your book is awesome.
Shout out, Rance.
I think Faust would do really well if he could get his hands on a firearm, which are somewhat uncommon, not unheard of, but uncommon in my world. And so he might find a steep learning curve. Hyatt would die immediately in His Ragged Company. He'd look at someone the wrong way. He'd get pummeled. He has no fight skills. It would not go well for Hyatt.
Beautiful.
Unless he had his 2 kick-ass women with him, because Dolores would probably do very well, and if he stuck really close to her side, it would probably work out.
That's fair. I feel like Dolores and
So
Peggy
it sounds
Winters.
like he's Daniel.
Yeah, it is basically. Except here's the thing, but Hyatt is an artist. I'm not an artist, so he actually has a leg up on me.
You're right. You're right. That's art.
But not very well.
You write really well.
Thank you.
In a couple of months, you've made Don't Make It Weird podcasts like one of the biggest things going on in the writing community, and there's an art to that. So,
Are we really?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. All right, Sam.
No,
you
we're
can
not.
stay. I love it. I love it. Keep telling me nice things. Ego boost me, buddy.
You know what? Can I just say something really quick? We apparently converted Sam to podcasts. So can we celebrate that for a moment?
I will take that because
Cheers.
Sam, tell us your general feeling on podcasts in general.
so I can't really imagine a lower form of communication.
Fuck.
With I swore I would never do the exact thing that I am doing right now, but Don't Make It Weird podcast is the front runner of about 5 that have sold me that not all podcasts are bad. And I love Don't Make It Weird podcast. I've committed to being on another one. So I'm really excited and lucky to be the first guest on Drive the Nail podcast, which is a horror themed podcast. And while I don't write horror much, I'm a horror fan like I'm a Swiftie. I consume all of it as soon as it comes out. I've already seen Candyman and Old and Malignant. I'm a huge horror fan.
Things. They sounded horrible.
I'm gonna have to ask you about all those things.
Yeah,
we won't talk about it now. But
I was going to say, so Dina,
I'll slide
I don't
to the DMs later.
Yeah, I don't think Dina's going to be a guest on a future Drive the Nail podcast, unfortunately.
It would be amazing for Dinosaurus to do a pros and cons of horror on that podcast with Vanessa. I would tune in and buy tickets. That would be
We
just
might have
perfect.
to, yeah.
Con, my freezer doesn't have enough room. Pro, there are none.
That's fair.
There's no pros.
Beautiful.
And I know you guys already mentioned Rants, but I'm also looking to do his quarantine book club with him, and I'm super excited about
man,
that.
we're a
So
big
that
fan
one's
of the
slowly
Quarantine
warming.
Book Club podcast around here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, he wrote us a song. I mean, I don't know how he gets better than songs from Rants. It's just going to be the Rants episode. Damn.
It's the greatest gift we've ever received as a crew. I mean, if we're being honest.
That's because Rants is the greatest gift we've ever received.
Goddamn right.
Oh,
You know what?
isn't he?
He's just sensational. Just a total sweetheart. Love that man.
Love that man. All right. So, all right, guys. Before we get further down the Rants Love Fest, because it is time.
We could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, we're all just going to sit around and we're going to go in circles saying one nice thing about Rants each and then just keep it going.
The Rant Circle Jerk episode. The one with the Rant Circle Jerk. That's what we're going to call it.
Yes.
All right. So you've got a story for us that you've promised us
Cut.
is going to embarrass Frex.
All set.
Sam, it is time for a very special moment.
It's story time with Sam.
We're posing.
So, I've been seeing Frex for just shy of 2 years now, and somebody recently called us Twitter's most beloved couple, and we love all of Twitter. And we're relatively loud about our intimate and erotic activities. And so it should come as no surprise to anybody that we talk pretty openly about what we like and what we like to like and stuff like that. So, Frex has recently discovered that she has a taste for the fairer sex also, which is awesome for her. And in an effort to try to explain to me what she was looking for, she sends me a link to that Black and Orange site and sends it to my phone. What matters from here on in the story is that I lived for 4 years in Las Vegas. And Las Vegas is home to the adult entertainment outside LA. We have the annual Adult Video Network Awards. Everybody you meet somewhere in the sex work industry, from cam girl to burlesque dancer, it's a whole thing. And so being there and being involved, you get to know a lot of people across the industry. Fast forward to about a week ago getting this link, and I click on it, and there's a good friend of mine doing some relatively bold things with her tongue and hips. And so I reach back to Frex and say, hey, first of all, you have excellent taste. I love what you're working with here. Secondly, if you'd like an introduction to that particular porn star, I have her personal number, and we've hung out for a significant amount of time. It's not the first time, but the most meaningful time someone sent me a link of someone that I used to like hang out with and play video games with and go to conventions with. That completely blew Freck's mind because she's very familiar with my history. We've known each other for a very long time. But it was hysterical. And then having her turn 70,000 shades of red and say, oh, like not her specifically, I mean, but yeah, kind of her specifically. It was a great experience. And because she will hate that I told that story, I did clear it with her first. I wanted to also mention for the first time on the podcast, because she knows that I am recording it now, but it will be released after my book comes out. The book is dedicated to her, and no one knows. No one, including her, is aware, so that's a Don't Make It Weird exclusive.
Incredible.
She has no idea that when she opens it in 5 days, she's the dedication on page 1.
That's amazing!
Really cool.
So,
You guys are basically Twitter's power couple, and I fucking love it.
it's all her. I get to stand next to her and be much cooler because she's there, which goes back to my cool female characters and the bumbling guy that kind of gets dragged along with them. It's a very real experience.
Very relatable. I think we all understand that. And you know what's funny is that there's definitely like the curly haired connection here, because I've got the curly haired wife, Dina is curly haired, and Frex is also curly haired, and the characters have some curls too. Like I feel like that's a very strong indicator of female empowerment.
It is. And I grew up in the Felicity era with Carrie Russell. And I've never seen anybody with curls like that until Frex and Dina. So it's a real thing, and it's awesome. So
You're welcome.
Oh, man. That's a beautiful story. I love it. I love it. That's so cool. I'm excited to see that dedication, man.
That's so good.
All right, Sam. I think you know what's coming up next, buddy.
are we reading? Are we leaning in real close to the mic?
Oh my God! Whoa, Sam! Oh my God!
It takes a special kind of person to have that type of mic voice.
Listen, I'm just saying that my nipples just
Why,
pebbled.
thank you.
Oh my gosh!
So I told some friends at work that I was doing my first podcast after being very vocal about my anti-podcast stance. Anytime, Dina. But they're like, oh yeah, you'll have to send me the link to the podcast when it publishes. And then I started thinking about this end segment, and I'm like,
Oh no! Listen, so here's what's exciting. We normally go from the UK's literary review, and they give us the bad sex fiction every year. And I've been pulling this list off of an actual website, but I actually went to their website, and not only do we have the worst of every year, we have runners up for the worst of every year. There are more. And so you get, Sam, a very special 3 readings. They're all kind of short, but you get to read 3 runners-up.
3 times
We're gonna get
sexy
some
readings.
I love being your friend, Dan.
Yep. So you get to...
There's this guy on The Bachelor, and every time I hear 3, I think of him because he like made the world go crazy because 3. Okay.
Sean, you're killing me right now.
Sam, check your Twitter DMs, baby.
Gross.
Sam, you're gonna have to use that mic voice again because you just fucking blew my mind. So.
Oh, yeah.
And Sean has slid into my DMs.
Yep.
And
I mean, all I'm saying is that I get now why you and Frex have such a healthy, long-distance relationship with that voice.
do you, Dan?
All right.
Dina's face, I can't even.
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, I don't even know what to do with my hands right now.
I always know what to do with my hands. Got him.
Oh!
That's what she
said. All right, Sam, get us, baby.
The Paper Lovers by Booker shortlisted Gerald Woodward. Beneath them, her wetness made his own wetness, and they stirred against each other. She pestled him slowly, until miraculously he found himself rigid again, as though he'd risen out of his own pain, fresh and ready.
Oh, yeah, he's ready, baby.
Nope.
Why was
Next
it like
up.
a pestle? Hold on. The pestle?
Pestle?
Like a
Yep.
rubber and pestle, baby, just smashing together.
Just smashing together.
I could go
Wow.
get mortar and pestle for
All right, sorry.
Only if you work it real slow, Dina.
Oh my god.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Haruki Murakami's Killing Commendator. I slipped my erect penis inside.
Oh, yeah.
Or, from another angle, that part of her actively swallowed my penis, immersing it in what felt like warm butter.
Why does everybody make butter so sexual? It's fucking gross. They always do that.
Oh, shit.
Last up on Dan's Private Fantasies, we have Scoundrels by Major Victor Cornwall and Major Author St. John Trevelyan.
Major, baby.
Major.
Her vaginal ratchet moved like concertina like waves, slowing, chugging my organ as a boa constrictor swallows its prey.
Oh no! Is this how vaginas work? What have I been missing?
Okay, wait.
Yes, they're all basically boa constrictors.
Yeah, and they
You
just
guys ever heard
swallow
about
you, like-
that woman in India that can literally take off a man's penis with her vagina?
Oh god,
Jesus
no!
Christ.
No! That can't
Yeah.
be real. Oh no!
The
hold on.
ultimate defense.
The ultimate defense
So-
mechanism.
That woman's Kegels are off the charts.
Vaginal ratchet? Can we talk about that?
Vaginal ratchet.
So I grew up with the movie Teeth. I assume that Dan's
Oh,
probably
God,
seen.
yeah,
there
I've
it
seen
is.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you need a sex education video for a 16-year-old, let me recommend
It's
Teeth.
perfect.
Yeah,
Totally
it's-
anatomically correct.
Yeah, no, it's
Factual.
Listen, it just makes you think twice. That's all I'm trying to say.
It does. And 3 times.
And 3 times. Oh my god! I loved the butter one. The one where it's just like it just.
I hated it.
Well, what's not sexual about drizzling, oozing grease and lard?
I see that all the time, and there's like even GIFs or GIFs or however you want to say it, on Twitter all the time, where like they're rubbing butter on themselves sexually, and I just don't understand why that's hot.
Dina, you're the only
get
one
it.
who doesn't think butter is
You're the
incredible.
only one that doesn't think Dina.
I think
You're the
Dina's
only
hot.
one that doesn't think butter is the best thing of all time. You're the only one that I've
But
ever
why
met.
do you make it sexual? Even if you like to eat butter, why do you make it sexual?
Why not, baby?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about how you're curating your feed because I literally never get those. So I think your friends are just drowning you in hot butter gifts.
Just all
They really
the time
are,
is just
though.
butter.
People do. They just send me these fucking gifts.
BRB, I'm searching hot butter gifts right now.
There's one of not Martha Stewart, but it's another cook with light blonde hair, heavy set. She's older.
Paula Deen.
Paula Deen. There's
Oh,
one of
she
her
loves her
physically
butter.
writing a log of butter. And I'm just like,
That's
what
so
are you guys
great.
doing?
You know why? Because she puts a whole goddamn stick of butter in every recipe that she makes. Like, that's
I
her
was
thing.
gonna say.
That sounds
Yeah,
very
she-
unhealthy.
Yeah.
No, Paula Deen does
Uh-huh.
not cook for your health. That is, it's just for deliciousness.
The great state of Georgia will not stand for this slander.
Light
Oh,
blonde.
man.
Oh no! It's true. It's true. Oh my gosh! So that was excellent. We got a 3-peat read, and I'm just so excited because I've found so many more readings for us to do for future episodes, and so I appreciate you being our warm slab of butter. Awesome, man. Awesome. So all right. So guys, again, you can check out Sam's debut novel, Eighth Warning. It's out now. You can get your hands on it. You can be part of the glory. But don't take my word for it, Sam. It's time for a very special segment, the 1-second pitch. Now, we're going to give you an opportunity to give a full pitch in a minute, but I know you know how this works. You've been on the show. You've got 1 second to seduce, intimidate, or bribe your audience into getting your book. You ready, buddy?
Ready.
All right. I can count you in.
Watch Hyatt suck less and less.
That's a character
That's
arc,
pretty
baby. We can't
That
promise
was a
that
lot
Hyatt
in
get-
the 1 second. That was good.
Listen,
Thank you.
all we can hope for is that we don't suck as much as we used to.
I mean, that's literally our philosophy
my
on the
life
Don't
goal.
Make It Weird podcast. We're not trying to be good. We just want to suck less.
And not make it weird.
Yeah, that too. I think we failed at that. But all right. So give the folks at home the big pitch. Why do they want to get that book? What do they have to look forward to?
So, The Eighth Warning is a post-apocalyptic adventure about 3 inspiring characters who try to stop the end of the world and the extinction of humanity. It's got fuck-off monsters. It's got moments of realization. It deals with real issues like PTSD, and it does it on a glide arc that keeps you enthralled all the way to the end, or at least that's what my dad says. So.
Hey,
That's a good endorsement right there, man. That's listen. Do you want to disappoint Papa Odiorne? Do you want to do that? Can't do that. But
Don't do it. He gets very sad.
but again, I've been selfish. I got to check this thing out early, and I'm telling you, it's one of my absolute favorite books that I've read in the last 5 years. It keeps you engaged, has great dialogue, great characters. It's fun all the way through, and it's a world you just want to walk around in and be a part of, man. And I'm so excited that you got to share it and that you get to live this dream of publishing this thing, man.
Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to a Daniel Quigley contribution to the anthology. We're writing the Gorman story.
Oh, yeah, that's happening. Yeah, no,
dude,
I have.
he's going to put Jar Jar in it. What are you doing?
I told you it went out in the release copy. You don't believe me? Just wait.
Oh, man, I thought you were kidding, and now I'm really excited.
I'm like, no, this is better.
Now I have to read it again.
And here's my cease and desist from Disney.
Yeah, just right there. Oh my goodness! But yeah, no, it's
Thank you guys so much for having me on.
And Sam, thank you so much for being on, man. It was an absolute pleasure. It just means that we're going to be seeing you on again fall of 2022 at the absolute latest. So
I can't wait. One last alibi to everybody who told me how much they love me on Don't Make It Weird podcast. This is my first appearance. I appreciate everyone who is sure I've already been here, but this is one.
We had to double check. We had to double check. They were like, wait, Sam, wait, what?
3 times.
Really?
Hold on.
3 times.
Hold on, because also a minute ago I wasn't going to point it out. I was just going to write it in. Where did we fuck up? But Daniel also said that you had made an appearance before
Yes,
already.
I
in this
noticed
episode,
that.
and
I
was
didn't
like,
jump in, but
Yeah.
Never been here.
So that's 4.
he said you've been on the
I just assumed
podcast
Sam's
before.
always been. Yeah.
Also, can I just say, Sam, I also don't like podcasts. I fucking hate podcasts.
She only likes her
I fucking
podcast,
hate
people.
them.
I mean, listen, it's true. Before starting this podcast, I didn't listen to any other podcasts. Like, I
Oh,
occasionally, like,
man.
sometimes, like, listen to, like, a 49ers one. But, yeah, no, so this is
I
the
would...
podcast. Yeah, go on.
Go ahead. No, I was
I was
just...
gonna say,
Ugh.
Oh, my God, you just go. You go.
You hang out first. No, you hang out. No, you hang out.
The only podcasts I've ever listened to are like medical ones for work, and that was it. And like I hated them, and I had to listen to it because I was trying to get information that I needed from that particular episode.
So, yeah, so
My very first podcast that I listened to, and the only exception before Don't Make It Weird, was My Dad Wrote a Porno, and it was hysterical.
I've heard about this.
I'm adding that to the list.
It's worth checking out as the exception to the rule.
Yeah, but listen, now that I've started podcasting, we have a lot of friends. We have our, We Have Issues, the Quarantine Book Club. I can't wait for Drive the Nail. And it's a fun world to be part of. But yeah, we're the podcast for people that don't like podcasts, except for Sean, who has always loved podcasts.
Always.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, he's like,
Looking
what
off
the
my
fuck,
back.
man?
More podcasts for me to enjoy.
Because that's how it works. They're finite.
Yeah,
If you watch it, there's less for me. So
That's true. Very true. That's just science. So
that's science.
all right.
Can't argue with it.
All right, guys. So this has been another incredible episode of the Don't Make It Weird podcast. Sam, thank you so much for being a part of this. Again, guys, check out the 8th Warning. You will not regret it. It's going to be amazing. I promise you. So, as always, you can find me on Twitter at DanQWritesThing. DanQ not Dank Rain. Sam, you're going to back me up on this, right? We're family now. You're going to back me up.
You so dank, boo.
It's stank.
Yes.
Well, now I'm no longer friends with Sam, all right? So no Gorman story.
No.
The Gorman story isn't happening anymore. But Sam, anyways, where can they find you, sir?
I'm Sam Odiorne everywhere. SamOdiorne.com, IG, Facebook, Twitter. You name it. If you type in Sam Odiorne, I'm the only one, and I'm everywhere.
There we go. And Dina, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dinosaurus D. That's D like D's nuts. See? You guys do say D's nuts.
No, I said D.
No. I said D.
Oh, wait, who said D's
Yeah.
nuts? Was that Sam?
Nobody said it
said it.
except for you.
No! There was 100% a male voice. I feel like Daniel said it.
Me?
Yeah, see? He did it. He said D's nuts. See, sometimes you guys say D's nuts. I'm not crazy.
Not once.
Listen, crazy person. I think all three of us are definitely not gaslighting you when we say.
Daniel, you're such a prick.
Oh shit! I didn't. Hold on, wait. Before I even get out of here and get into producer Sean, Sam, I've been asking a lot of our guests lately. If you had to get rid of troublesome gnomes, what would be your move? How do we
Asked that
eliminate
one
the problem?
time.
It's a thing. Now. It's a thing now. Sam has got experience on how to get rid of a threat, and I need to know how we get rid of this threat.
I assess with moderate confidence that if you out-rap battle a gnome, they're afraid to come back. So I guess you've got your work cut out for you.
Oh shit!
That sounds
Sam,
like a
are you the
challenge.
rapping gnome?
I'm not, but I know who is.
I know who is.
Son of a bitch! So this is what it's like to have all the secrets. This is why you have all the secrets. Okay.
You wanted blissful ignorance, Daniel. You got it, baby.
perfectly
Just trying
done.
to redirect.
All right, producer Sean, where can the folks find you?
I will be housing an entire sandwich in one bite.
What kind of sandwich, producer Sean?
Just like a boa constrictor vagina, just fully.
Oh my god. Unhinge the jaw.
It literally is so like this woman's vagina literally just like cuts off a dick.
No, like is there video of her like
It's
cutting
like,
on?
you
Is
know
this like
those-
a punishment in
You
India?
know those cigar trimmers that they use with the razor blades? It's
That's
just like,
literally. This was circulating the internet back in like 2010.
Oh god, I have to
Like
look it up, but I don't
woman.
want
Lord,
to.
we're gonna have
I
to
don't
put it in the
want to.
description. Link in the description, everybody.
Yeah, for
Not safe for work.
now that's a fuck off monster right there, literally.
To answer your question, Dina, I grilled some chicken last night, and I used that chicken to make chicken salad, and I'm gonna have a big fat chicken salad sandwich on Dutch crunch
Ooh,
roll.
with grapes and walnuts.
Daniel.
Oh my god, I'm having so
You know
much
what?
Dutch crunch.
I love chicken salad with grapes and walnuts. Not tonight, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Plenty of onions, though.
And Dina, you should try banger taters as soon as you
bangers
can.
and mash.
It's not to
we're
be
gonna
missed.
do the
Taters.
Bangers and mash for Dina.
That's gonna
for
be
sure.
That's gonna be the hashtag of this episode is banger taters. All right, guys, we've got completely off the rail. We love you all. Thank you for being a part of this episode, and I love you too, Shannon. Jazz hands.
The Don't Make It Weird podcast, hosted by Daniel Quigley and Dina Soros. Produced by me, Sean Holden. Music by Amaria. A very special thank you to our guest this week, Sam Odiorne. His novel, The Eighth Warning, Book 1 of the reclaimed saga, is available now. Link is in the description. For those of you stuck around to the end, here's a riddle. Daniel is sitting in his house at night. It has no lights, no lamp, no candle, none whatsoever. Yet, he is reading. How? Leave your answer in the comments.